when people try to control the outcome, that has to do with them not having control over a lot of their lives, that they feel that they need to control every single outcome moving forward. And then that causes more disappointment, which leads to them wanting to control even more. And that's just a vicious cycle.
100%. In my opinion, these are the people that are, the Karens that we see on social media that get so upset and worked up over how other people act towards them, and they think they should have control over how other people are.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Lalwani Lounge. Today we have with us one of my good friends and a licensed real estate agent, Kilian Rief. Hey, Kilian. How's it going?
What's up, man?
It's been a while. How you been?
That's right. I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, man.
Of course. You know, the last time we met, I think it was like in garden room, like randomly. I was waiting on some friends, and you were out there with your friends.
Right.
And then you walked up behind me. You were like, "Hey, remember me?"
That's right, man. And I've been tracking you down ever since, trying to slide into your DMs to invite me here. Like, it took you long enough.
You should have started with please. I'm just kidding.
Well, all right.
I'm just kidding.
They usually say you had me at hello.
Oh, I should have said that, right? I am so bad at dating. I don't even know how this works. But I know you do a lot of real estate, and you are a licensed real estate broker, right? So how did you get into real estate?
How did I get into real estate? Well, I'm gonna have to rewind back all the way to 1997.
Wow, go for it.
I mean, right? We got some time here, right?
We got a lot of time.
It's Friday. Well, I guess it all started with my love for this great nation, America, the United States. I was going to the library. I'm from Munich, Germany, like the suburbs, 2 hours south of Munich, Germany, like the Alps. Beautiful place, mountains. There's, very small towns. My cousin and I, we would go into this library, and I would be so fascinated, so drawn to the cowboys and Indians, Native Americans, all that good stuff. So I was like, wow. So that kind of like sparked my passion and love for America. 5 years old, I wanted to be a movie star. I wanted to be on, television. Leonardo DiCaprio was one of my all-time favorites. Titanic, of course. I mean, everybody loved that movie. We were 10 years old at the time. Then later on, we were moving, and we were waiting for this real estate agent lady to show us his house, right? My mom, my brother, my dad, we were all waiting in front of this house. This real estate agent lady drives up there in a nice BMW. She gets out, she was wearing a nice suit. And I asked my dad, I was like, hey, Dad, what does she do? Like, what's her job? Why are we seeing her here? And he explained the job of real estate agent to me. And I was like, wow, now I want to be a real estate broker when I grow up in America. Fast forward 20 years, here I am.
Wow. So it's like your childhood dream came true.
Dream.
You moved to America and you became a real estate broker.
Absolutely.
Just like you dreamed when you were 10 years old.
10 years old.
There are very few people in this world that can actually say that they achieved their childhood, dreams. I wanted to be an astronaut. Look where I am, still on Earth. but
I'm too late, right?
I know, right? But I'm glad you got to achieve what you wanted to do.
Thank you very much.
So in this real estate field, like, what do you do specifically? I know there are like a lot of different roles that you can play. What are the roles that you play?
So specifically as a associate broker, real estate agent, my role is to help home buyers like yourself, on a residential side, purchase residential properties, or sellers. If you were to sell your property, if you want to sell your house, you contact me and I'm going to sell, or I'm going to help you sell your property with a well worked out marketing plan, targeting right audience, all that good stuff, to really what boils down to maximizing your bottom line on the sell side, but then of course representing your interests on the buying side, because there are so many ins and outs that you have to know. when, especially for first-time home buyers, when you haven't never bought a property before, that's why you always want to be represented by a very well experienced professional agent.
Okay. So if I were in the market to buy a house, firstly, how would I find you?
How would you find me?
Uh-huh.
Well, most of my marketing is really done by word of mouth,
Okay.
network marketing, referrals. My clients, they leave reviews to their friends if I do a good job, and I usually do.
I'm
And
sure.
so basically, I mean, as a real estate agent, I mean, of course, I do marketing as well. Of course, there's social media marketing. Then, we have Google ads and all of that stuff. I do all of that stuff. Most of my business comes from word of mouth marketing and referrals, however, from satisfied clients and customers. Now, of course, I cannot move to Atlanta, and I moved to Atlanta in 2015. And you can't move to a new city, to a new continent, for what it's worth, and say, hey, my friends, because I had none. Hey, family, because I had none here, start sending me some business. Hey, past clients, start sending me some business. You can't do that, right? Because, I mean, clearly I had no family here, I had no friends here. I certainly had no past clients here. So I just basically got on the phone and started cold calling. Back in Germany, I went to university, college, and I was just so extremely blessed at such a young age to know exactly what I want out of life. And that has guided me into this direction to where I am, of course, right now, right here. But I read hundreds of books, every single book that there was about how to be successful as a real estate agent. And so I got on the phone, cold calling, for sale by owners, expired listings, all that good stuff, which drummed up a lot of business. And then you do a good job. You're professional. You carry yourself well, and you do what you say you're going to do, and you follow through and you follow up. And that has brought me to where I am today. I'm very fortunate to be able to say that. I have a few other companies. I got a company for developing properties, real estate, house flipping, so to say, renovating properties, distressed properties. We do the rental game, rental properties. I carry a few. Exactly.
Nice. So in Atlanta, at least, we find so many real estate agents, like
40,000. Atlanta, 40,000 real estate agents.
And there are probably more that are not licensed that are working for a real estate firm.
Right. In order to broker a transaction, you do have to be licensed. But,
okay.
I mean, of course.
But you have like support staff or
Absolutely.
like I know Redfin has like, people that are not licensed, but they show you the property and then Redfin finally signs the documents and everything, right?
So technically, Georgia law, real estate law, actually requires you to be licensed before, like when you show a property to the consumer, you have to be licensed for it. So those Redfin agents, I don't know what Redfin's doing there, but you do have to be licensed in order to show a house to the consumer.
Okay. So you said there are 40,000 real estate agents. What
in Atlanta?
what would make me come to you instead of, the rest?
Absolutely. And I mean, that's a great question, right? Very easy and straightforward. It's the hand-on approach. It's the hand-on approach that I put onto the way I handle my business, right? I take a lot of pride in me being a real estate agent. And what a random thing to be is a real estate agent. What a random dream to have as a 10-year-old kid to be a real estate agent, right? But again, I've just been so extremely blessed to know exactly what I want to do later on in life, that now in that position that I'm in, I can put so much love, passion, and joy into my work. Yeah, I mean, clearly for me, it's not work. And for you, or at least that's what I hope the experience is for my clients when they buy or sell, is that they're not working with some annoying, pushy sales agent, but actually with a party that's representing them, their best interest and their best interest only, who's giving them honest advice in either moving forward into a direction with a property or not. On the sales side, for example, if I'm helping you sell your property, if the first offer comes in, if it's good, sure, we might take it. But if I think that there's better things coming, really tell you the truth and say, look, I believe I can get you more money. So it's very important to not to have an agent that has that much experience and doesn't have what we call in the business and the industry commission breath. Commission breath is something, and everybody can smell bullshit, right? Everybody can call bullshit, right? I mean, I cannot show you a house that you don't like, but I'm like, I'm trying to sell you all on that house. It's like it's an agent who has commission breath. Or on the sell side, on the listing side, if there was a bullshit offer coming in, if I was to represent you in helping you sell your property, and there was a bullshit offer coming in, I'd be like, yeah, but the market is turning and all this stuff. No, I'm a straight shooter for sure. If the market is turning, if all of that was actually true, I'm going to shoot it to you straight. But if a bullshit offer comes in, I'm going to tell you, look, there's a bullshit offer, and I don't think you should take it. And I think all of that hand-on approach, love, passion, and joy in dealing with my clients is what propels my business a step further and further and further, because with every year passing, there is more and more happy and satisfied customers.
Nice. So talking about this commission breath, right? I was going to ask you about it. So I understand on the sales side, you want to get as much money for the client because you get a bigger commission.
Absolutely.
Right? But on the buyer side, if you go to a property and you don't think it's worth the listing price,
right?
How do you handle those situations because if you tell the client that, hey, you can get this same place for cheaper, that cuts in your commission as well, right? Because you get a percentage. So the lower the client buys it at, the lower your percentage gets, right?
Absolutely.
So how do you handle those, and how do you stay ethical? Even when like it's doing the right thing versus a vacation in the Bahamas. Like, how do you pick what do you want to do?
Well, that's a great question. So it starts with the very first thing and the very first thought, and that is putting your client first. Putting your client first and your client's needs first before your wallet, before that Bahamas vacation, before the new Rolex watch, or before the new G-Wagon car. And if you really internalize that and you put yourself last, you certainly put your wallet last, but the other person first, is the moment you win. And that's true in business as it is in personal. In life, the moment you give more than you receive, you're always going to end up winning.
Nice. I like it. So what you're saying is you're putting your ethics above your money. You're putting your excellence
100%.
Above money.
100%.
Perfect. And then the hope is that the better service you provide, the better word of mouth you get as well, which leads to business anyways. So you don't need to chase, unethical money, because, sending out these positive vibes will then somehow come back to you.
Very true. However, I would not call it a hope. Even if I was not hoping for said return to come back to me, I would still do it because it's the right thing to do.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So a lot of it is unconditional.
It's 100% unconditional. You carry, as a broker, as an agent, you carry a fiduciary duty to your clients, which is putting your clients' needs first. Now, again, as I said, the entrance barrier for agents, for people to become sales agents in the state of Georgia, in the United States, to become a real estate agent is very small, right? You just got to pass the real estate license exam. Once you do that, you can technically become a real estate agent, and then you can start selling houses. Of course, experience adds to your belt. Transactions, all of that adds to your belt. And that's what I'm talking about with commission breath, right? Like, everybody can smell bullshit. So you, for example, you work with somebody, with an agent who needs to pay rent, right? And I have been there. When I moved to America, I did not know how I'm going to pay rent, right? I had $1,400, $2,000 in my bank account. And it was 2016, $2,000 in my bank account. And I said, oh, wow. The very moment my bank account drops below $2,000 is the moment I'm going to get another job as a bartender, right? Switched my mind around in that state that I was in, switched my mind into the abundance state. And that was that very moment when everything switched and changed around for me personally. But back to that point of commission breath, you can always tell a person, especially in sales, when you feel like they need to make that sale, right? because you feel like you're clearly given signs to that person who's trying to sell you on something that you don't want what's being sold to you, and that person keeps pushing it. You're like, bro, come on, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's ethics, you know?
Yeah. So one of the things that I want to understand is like when you were starting off, right? That means when you were trying to make rent, right? Now, knock on wood, you're pretty successful from where you started. You've had this trajectory, right? But you started at something. You started with nothing.
Started
right?
from the bottom. Now we're here.
I know, right? We got to quote Drake every single time.
I know.
But you did start at nothing.
Absolutely.
Did you cut corners then to get yourself kickstarted? Like maybe, for the first year, I'll have commission bread just so that I have enough capital to then make sure that my ethics come first. Or were you like, no matter what, I'm not going to give up on my principles. I'm not going to give up on who I am as a person in attempts to even making rent or having groceries for the week or, anything like that?
Very good question, right? So, at the end of the day, a person needs to, look out for themselves and for their family, right? However, in sales, people can always smell that bullshit, right? And when you write a manifesto for yourself, like a non-negotiable for yourself, you are going to have to obey your rules that you laid out for yourself. You know what I mean? And so to answer your question, no, never ever did I ever cross my own lines and my own boundaries because I was short on rent, because I couldn't pay because I couldn't fill up my car with gas, and that, in my opinion, did not have anything to do with money, but much more the value that I carried for myself, because I'd be lying to myself if I was to push commission breath on my client, on my consumer. Because me starting out, I come to America, right? And I'm like this young boy, I was 24 years old when I moved to America, and I'm like looking up and I was like, I want to be this successful real estate agent whose clients respect him and admire him. And you wouldn't get there by cutting corners.
Interesting. Well, that's actually a very good thing that you did not, like, you're basically practicing what you preach, right? And it's a very important quality because a lot of people talk big, right? And then
especially here, right, in America.
I don't think it's just America. I've been to
of course, it's human nature.
It's
human nature to talk big. Everybody wants to feel big. Everybody wants to be more admired and more respected by other people.
Right.
So of course it's human
nature.
But
I also feel a lot of people have good thoughts and good ethics, at least in principle, but very few constantly stay on track for it. So it's good that you stayed on track, like even where times were tough, that you made sure that these are my principles and I'm going to stand by them.
100%.
Because that's who I am as a person, and this someday is going to define who I am.
100%. You know what? As a matter of fact, funny you say that. I've closed $500,000 real estate transaction with a partnership by a handshake, because that's how much value I put into my word. Right now, of course, some people might say whatever and whatnot, but that just goes to show to the value side of it, if that makes sense.
I think in Georgia, a handshake deal is a legally binding deal. I think so.
Well, there was more to it.
Sorry.
There was more to it.
I know you wanted to sound very profound.
Well, I hope I made that point.
Yes, you did. You did.
I hope I made that point, and my lawyers did follow up with...
I'll just edit this part out.
My lawyers did follow up with the necessary paperwork, I guess.
But that's good. Like, there's this very old saying, right? That,
A man is
Shit.
worth as much as his word.
Exactly, that
Is that
one.
what you're looking for?
It's like you're like finishing my sentences now.
100%.
Hold on, this was supposed to be my
You know,
line.
I
was supposed to sound profound in this.
I got you, man. Well, we're in this together.
I know, right?
So get this, man. So I was in, the year was 2019, I believe. 2000. No, it was 2020. It was 2020. October, Thanksgiving. I meet one of my now best friends from Austria. We meet here in, actually at Yabo, here in Atlanta. Because we were wearing the same belt, whatever. For whatever reason we meet, right? The universe puts us together. He's driving motorcycle. I always wanted to get into motorcycles. I told him, hey, find me a motorcycle. Literally the next day, because he's so reliable, he calls me up and he says, hey, man, I found a motorcycle for you. I'm like, nice. What is it? Because I'm not taking anything less than a Harley Davidson, the real deal. And he's like, it's a Harley Davidson. It's a Street Glide 2017. First owner, very well maintained. It's in Rome, Georgia. So we drive up there. You know, we knock on the dude's door, and Army vet comes out, and I appreciate the hell out of our vets, right? Thank you for your service right there. He comes out, right? He's packing. He's got a gun right here, but it's not concealed, nothing, right? It's just out. And we're just like, oh, hey, how are you? You know, my name's Alex. My name's Kilian. Nice to meet you. You know, we're here for the Harley. He's like, yeah, of course. My friend is like, oh, I see you packing right there. And, well, we may have to cut that part because he says, well, you never know when you run into a Democrat. Well, I don't know how we're going to cut that. But anyways, point being, he shows me the he shows me the motorcycle, and I give him the cash. We write up a little paper contract and we shake hands on it. And not for one moment did I think, or did he think, that either one of us is going to screw the other one over. And that much to a handshake. I put a lot of value in the word that I carry for myself, and the handshake that I give to people, and the word that I give out to people.
So then a question then is that if you put so much emphasis on your word and you stand by your word, how do you know that the person across from you is also somebody that's not going to break his or her word, is not going to break the word that they gave you or their promises that they made to you? Like, how do you get to trusting them with having the same ethics as you? I've been faced with these situations. Like, I put a lot of value to my word as well, even though I don't make deals on words, but
well, neither do I. I mean,
right. But you know what I'm talking about? Like, you would have conversation with your friends and you're like, hey, I'll call you tomorrow, or I will make sure that I will take care of this for you, or I'll help you out here, or I'll do this for you, or your secret's safe with me. There are so many things that we say on a daily basis, and I try my best to live by. We're not perfect, right? Sometimes even I mess up, right? But for the most part, I have never broken a promise. Well, actually, I've never broken a promise, but I may have found a way around some of my words because, again, I'm not perfect.
That
right?
is breaking a promise.
But it wasn't a promise. It was just like one of those, like, hey, okay, I'll get you this information, and then instead of tomorrow, I did like 4 days after.
Well, as long as you didn't say, I'm going to get it to you tomorrow, then you're good.
They had to remind me, and for a lot of other reasons, I could not get to it.
Right.
Not that I forgot about it, but
right.
And I did make it happen, but it just was not tomorrow.
Right.
It was like 4 days from now.
Yeah.
Right. But there have been instances when I've asked, like, hey, give me your availability for XYZ activity. And then I get, hey, okay, give me 4 days because I'm busy with XYZ, and I'll get back to you.
Well, so
what do you do on the seventh day? Like,
I think, to answer your question, you can't, you can never and never should control other people, and you can't. So by my shaking this Army vet's hand, accepting his word for getting in touch with the bank that had his title because he owed money on the motorcycle, and me giving him $15,000 in cash, I took his word, and I assumed the risk. I assumed the risk for knowing that if he was to screw me over, I knew that my people skills was not at the level that I know they are at. And that's the risk that I just took, right? So to answer your question, you don't know. You don't know, and you just don't know.
Do you think it changes based on if you do not care too much about the outcome of a certain thing,
Oh,
then you get more
friend,
trusting?
my friend, this is the number one in one of my credos in life is detachment of the outcome. My girlfriend, I love her to death. She can get annoyed with me when I seem not to be too involved in something to where, well, let me back up here. But to answer your question, it's about detachment of the outcome, right? The very moment you detach yourself from the outcome is, in my opinion, the moment you win in life. And it's a fact. And it's my truth. And my life, I try to live life completely stress-free, because I try to not attach myself to an outcome. Let's say, for example, the number one reason why people die early, the number one reason why people get cancer, are stressed, can't sleep, are on all those bullshit medications, is because of stress. It all boils down to stress. Stress in personal life because you feel like you don't live up to the expectation of your children, your partner, your parents. I guess your parents in our generation more. Stress because you feel like you don't live up to the expectations of your boss, your job. Stress because you may fail college, class, don't pass a test. And so the very moment that you detach yourself from an outcome, right, there's this Buddhist saying, right, that says, if you love a flower, you must not pick it up, because then the flower dies, and the very thing that you pick up ceases to death, right? Or like dies
Are you
away.
quoting Buddha to me?
I mean,
you do realize
that's right. That's right. I know you're Hindu, right? You're Hindu, right? I don't have to quote it to you.
The quote actually is like, if you like a flower, you will pluck it, but if you love a flower, you will nurture it.
Yeah, and that I think, goes to show. And thank you for correcting me.
I was like, you're quoting Buddha? I love it. I actually love it. I love the fact that
I think it is so true. It is so true, because the very moment, like, people are stressed because they want to get the job, they don't get the job, they're sad. And the law of attraction and the law of manifesting also comes into effect, to where when you are stressing out about it, I mean, it's very hard for it to come naturally to you. And the only thing that's going to stick to you is that when it comes naturally, and when you're completely open and actually don't give a fuck if it does come or not. And throughout my entire life, I don't know what it was, like God put something in me that I have been out of fucks to give for many things, people, my friends, my family, my girlfriend, sure, too, sometimes get upset with me because they feel like I don't have the level of caring for the outcome as much as they would hope for me to have. But for me personally, it just works extremely well, right? As an entrepreneur, I'm not very detail oriented, because I tend to detach myself from an outcome, right? I want to list your house. I come by, I give my listing pitch. I always do the best that I can. And as long as you give your best, that's all you can do. The rest is not up to you. So you should never, and in my opinion, never must stress about things that are not in your control. The only thing you can control is yourself, your emotions, and how you're going to act or react towards a certain situation that you were put in or that you were putting yourself in. The rest, fuck, I don't care. Shit. I come list your house. I do the absolute best that I can. I walk out and you say, bro, piss off. I'm not going to list with you. I'm like, all right, your fault, your mistake, your whatever the word is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Meaning, like, as long as you give your absolute best, and you're then able to detach yourself from the outcome, like personal wise, relationship wise, right? You want to be the best person you can be for your partner. And that's it. You cannot control how your partner is going to act or react towards you trying to be the best version of yourself. You have absolutely no control over it. And the problem is people get themselves into a cul-de-sac when they try to control other people, when they try to understand other people, when they try to understand other people's emotions. And I just don't care. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So I have a question for you. It's a little deeper than we've
That's
been
why
talking
we're
about.
here, right?
I know, right? So, do you think that when people try to control the outcome, that has to do with them not having control over a lot of their lives, that they feel that they need to control every single outcome moving forward, and then that causes more disappointment, which leads to them wanting to control even more, and that's just a vicious cycle.
100%. In my opinion, these are the people that are, I mean, the Karens that we see on social media that get so upset and worked up over how other people act towards them, and they think they should have control over how other people are. But when they actually were, or if everybody was to look internally into their lives, it will be a mess. It will be an utter mess. And this is how they are projecting, gaslighting it onto the world, and like, it's not necessarily ideal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how did you get to a point where you, but I'm guessing you were not well adjusted, like well adjusted than most of us as a child. I'm guessing you had some, things that you went through during your childhood, but how did you get to a point where you were like, okay, this seems like the best way forward, where I detach myself from the outcome, and I don't put so much stress in my life, and I just do my best and just leave everything else to the universe?
Great question, man. Thanks for asking. So, in the world that we live in, everybody wants to live in a world of absolute facts or control. You want to live in a world of control. You want to control what's going to happen tomorrow. That's why you schedule time with your friends. That's why you schedule your appointments. That's why you go about your life and schedule, right? Because you want to have control. Now, what if I was to tell you that you can't control life? You just cannot, period. You try to tell me otherwise, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. Because it is a fact. You cannot control life. You cannot control what is going to happen to you or for you. I believe that everything in life happens for you because there's a reason behind it. Of course, a lot of people say, I believe everything happens for a reason, which I truly believe everything does happen for a reason. It's sometimes just very hard to see that reason. So let's say, for example, I guess to answer your question, living in a state of uncertainty is what has helped me to get there. Living in a state of uncertainty, meaning I schedule my life. I mean, I'm a successful entrepreneur. I'm a successful businessman. I make big deals. I make, things happen. And being able to have a straight A business where, of course, you say you're going to be at X, Y, and Z 123 Main Street at 4 p.m. on a Saturday, you're going to have to be there. Otherwise, you're not going to be successful. So, of course, I'm going to do that. But kind of like having a perfectly worked out symbiosis between sticking to your word and having a schedule while accepting the fact that life is uncertain. You can't know for sure if you're going to be there tomorrow at 4 p.m. You drive down the street, you get hit by a car, and that's uncertain, right? Something that is not in your control. And then another credo of mine that has helped me to be where I am today is it doesn't matter what happens to you. The only thing that matters is what are you going to do about it, right? You always have to adjust. You always have to move forward. And you always have to see the situation that happens to you, mold around it, move forward.
Do you think a lot of people have this fear of uncertainty? Like, I know you have.
Fuck, 100%. Everybody does, dude. Everybody does.
I know you've
People are
embraced it,
freaking
right?
out. 100. I've embraced it 100%. I've never, not one time, taken Xanax or one of those other calming pills or something like that. But this is because, but this is why, like Xanax and all those tranquilizers are so huge in business, is because people are having such a hard time accepting that state of uncertainty because they want to control everything.
Right.
That's how they were brought up, right? They were being controlled by their parents. Their parents were like, no, don't be out until whatever and whatnot. However, they were being controlled. And that is then, trickling down into their generation to where they are actually used to control. And then when they grow up, they come of age, and they're like, fuck, this is life. This is adulthood, where you actually cannot control the fuck's going to happen tomorrow. Fuck. No, I'm stressing out. Now I can't sleep because now I'm thinking about all those what ifs and all those worry and stuff. Man, like, don't worry before it's time, all the worries and stuff that people have. 99.9% of all the worries and stresses that people internalize are never ever going to come true. And if you have that ability to conquer your mind, to be like, sorry, worry, straight out of Fox to give about you. See you tomorrow or not. You win at life. And that's why I think the pharma industry is so huge, because many people do not have that ability to tap into being mindful about what they're being mindful about. And then they just pop a pill.
Yeah, it's one of those things. But there's so many interesting points that came out of there. And now I know why you quote Buddha.
You're welcome.
It all makes sense now. It all makes sense. So like, all right, well, I've heard this before, and now I know. Yeah. But I'm glad you got to a point where I don't even see worry lines on your forehead. So that's
well, that must be the Botox my girl's hooking me up with.
So you're telling me that
I'm joking.
You came to Atlanta and you went straight to Buckhead and got yourself a Botox. But jokes aside, but I'm glad with the fact that you've got to a point where you don't care about the outcome. You leave a less stressful life. Just focus on your own excellence and focus on the best that you can be. And we're constantly learning, we're constantly evolving, constantly getting better. So it's just like your best today or your best tomorrow is going to be better than your best yesterday. And then you just move forward, right, and just keep getting better. You learn from your mistakes and all the things that did not go right. Be better in whatever ways you can be better.
Right. Absolutely.
And you just keep moving forward without having to worry about like, where am I heading to? What's my destination? Or, just going with the wind, just like a sailboat, right? Like wherever the wind takes you.
Yeah. While still having kind of like a direction, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like still
Right.
knowing where you want to go, when you want to go there, like like manifesting law of attraction, right? And like in my mornings, right? Like visualizing, affirming where you want to go, when you want to go, when you want to get there, when you want to be there, while doing the best you can do to get there when you want to get there, but not giving a fuck about all the side things that's going to come to you. You know what I mean?
Yep. Do you think manifesting is the same thing as praying? Just a different word, and just a different format?
100%. I was brought up Catholic in Bavaria, Germany, where everybody is Catholic, and I was brought up Catholic, right? And it just did not resonate with me, mostly to what we have heard about Catholic priests in the news. We might want to cut that too. To answer your question, yes, absolutely. Praying, manifesting, in my opinion, is it's the same, right? So like praying, you pray Western world would say you pray to God. You're Hindu, you would say you pray to gods.
Yes.
Exactly. See, and like, it's, to me, it's so hard to believe or accept. Well, it's nobody, in my opinion, nobody can be wrong about what they believe in. You know what I mean? Like, you're not wrong for believing Hindu. I'm not wrong for being Christian. He's not wrong for being Muslim, right? So to answer your question, yes, I believe that praying is manifesting. It's like manifesting is praying and praying is manifesting. It's basically sending out your vibrations, sending out your energy into the universe, up to God, up to your God, up to whoever you're praying to, in order to path the way for whatever it is that you're praying for.
I like the way you put that. It's because a lot of people don't really relate both of these, right? So it's essentially you putting out this energy into the world, like, this is what I want, this is how I want it, this is what I'm ready to give up for it, and this is how this is what I'm gonna sacrifice for it. This is how much I'm gonna learn to get there, and that's how I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Right. And it happens, like, even when you're praying, you're offering something as a sacrifice.
Yeah.
When you're manifesting, you're still agreeing to a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so one of the things that I thought, like, these kind of sound similar, so I wanted to know your perspective on it too.
Yeah.
And then you said you were raised Catholic and in Germany.
In Germany, yeah. Born and raised.
And you moved here when you were 10, right?
No. I moved here when I was 24.
Okay. But 10 is when you wanted to move to America. That's when that dream started.
I was 5 when I wanted to move to America, and I was 10 when I wanted to be a real estate agent in America.
Okay. Did you want to be a real estate agent because the real estate agent was driving a German car?
No, it was a nice car. It was a luxury car, and she was wearing a
was
luxury
BMW.
suit. It was a luxury car, and she was wearing a luxury, very expensive suit. And
it was
the
still
best
a German
thing,
car.
German car, that's right. And guess what? I'm driving a German car. But outside of that, it was having the ability and freedom of leaving your office.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Now what I love, of course, is the fact that the only people that I have to answer to are my clients and the people that I work for, basically.
Right. So tell me more about growing up in Germany. For 24 years you were in Germany, and then you moved here. Did you have like a big culture shock?
A culture shock? Wow. So you've been in Germany?
No.
So where I'm from,
I've flown Lufthansa, if that counts.
No, it doesn't count. You driven a Porsche before? No, it doesn't count.
I have driven a Porsche before.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
I've driven a Porsche and a BMW. I used to own both of them. My first car was actually a BMW.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it doesn't count.
It doesn't count. What if my layover was in Germany?
Have you been to LJ?
No.
LJ, Georgia?
No.
I've
I've been to Helen, Georgia. Does that count?
Well, unfortunately not, because they're trying to be German.
Okay.
My point being.
I've celebrated Oktoberfest. Does that count? Give me something.
50-50.
Okay, sorry, continue.
Growing up in Germany, like I'm proud to be German, but Germany is just like America, right? Like let's say, for example, you meet an American in India. In New Delhi, you run into an American, and he says, "I'm from New York," and then at the next restaurant you go to, you meet another American. He says, "I'm from Miami," and the next one is from Los Angeles. Every one of those will have and will be a completely different experience for you, although they're all American. Point being, where I'm from in Germany, I'm from the very south of Germany, in the triangle between like Italy, Austria, Germany, Switzerland, all those beautiful places. It's picturesque, right? On the podcast, please blend in one of those beautiful pictures of my beautiful hometown, which is called the Allgäu. Skiing, mountains, lots of snow, beautiful. And I was born and raised in a little village with 2,000 people. 2,000 people live there. Everybody knew everybody, no crime, no traffic. No, I think it's picturesque. It was the number one vacation spot For Europe, outside of Italy and Spain. Number one vacation spot in all of Europe outside of Italy and Spain. Because it is so beautiful. The air is not polluted. People would come there. People with lung cancer would come to there because of the air. Forests, mountains. It's picturesque. It's beautiful. But somehow that wasn't enough for me. When I was a young kid, somehow that wasn't enough. I have a beautiful family. I love my family. I love every single one of my friends. I have 15, 20 friends that are like family. We all grew up together. I love every single one of them, but somehow I wanted more. Somehow deep inside of me, there was something that was saying, you know, Kilian, you got to go to America. You gotta test yourself with the big boys, you know?
So then I have a question for you. So it's a very existential question, right? What do you think was missing, and have you found it yet?
So that is the number one question that people like myself ask themselves for the rest of their lives if they're not able to find it. And I was fortunate enough to find it by searching deeply into my soul. And to answer the question, yes, I have found it.
Lovely. Are you willing to share?
Absolutely, I sure am. Progress.
Okay.
It's one simple word. It's progress. I did spend time, thousands of tears, not wasted, but thousands of tears spent missing my friends and family, being in America all alone, all by myself in my apartment, in my bedroom. I'm like, why am I doing this? I just sold this house. I just made X amount of money. I'm not here for the money. I don't do it for the money. I have this status. I just walked into this bar. This person knew me and said, oh my God, you're doing so well. You're doing so great. That's not what I do it for either. So then you do a lot of soul searching, and you come to find out what I came to find out for myself. Why am I doing it for? What am I doing it for? I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for my 10-year-old self, which believed in himself to believe in progress. And I have such a deeply rooted love and passion for this great nation, for America, and everything that America and the United States stand for. I do not know another person. Many of my friends say, man, you are the most patriotic person that I have ever met, and you were not even born here in this country. I was born in Germany, and as a matter of fact, when I first came here, I had a friend of mine, also from my hometown, who had moved to Atlanta. That's why I ended up in Atlanta. And he and I, you're from Germany, you talk differently, you have a weird accent, you dress differently, right? Your clothes are tight, you actually give a shit how you look, not like many other people that you may or may not see around here. And then, people would call us whatever, gay or something like that, right? And would say something like that. Well, I don't know, maybe you might want to cut that too. But people would tell us, people would say, oh, you have a weird accent, what the fuck are you doing here in America, right? This is America. The good old boys be like, what are you doing here, man? You can't even really talk English. And then my friend and I would be like, we would come up with it after, of course, those kind of guys would come up to us. We were like, dude, you know what? Fuck those guys, because as a matter of fact, we are much more American than they are, because we embody the body of America, because we actually left a suppressive government, which may or may not have been the reason why we left, but we left the government, we left the country to come to America to actually seek our own fortune, our own pursuit of happiness, which is the actual true foundation of why this country was founded and formed upon. And so we were like, yeah, come on, guys. Pass on, man. I'm more American than you are. And then, you go to the gym, you build muscles, you're an MMA fighter. Nobody's going to mess with you. So it feels very good to actually, it felt good back then. That was like 6 years ago when I was able to school the good old boys, telling them that I'm more American and I feel more American than they are.
Interesting.
Right.
So a lot of your story very much aligns with my story.
Is that so?
All the way going back to 10 years old.
Wow.
I'm not even kidding you. But yeah, it's great to hear stories that involve like, hey, I knew what I wanted very young in my age. I put in all the work for it. I put in my dedication. I put in my hard work. I put in, the countless hours, the countless tears, the countless blood, sweat, and tears, as they say, to get to where I am. And today,
100%.
I sit back and I have gratitude towards, everybody that helped me in the process. But at the same time, be grateful for where I am today.
Absolutely.
And respect the journey rather than chase behind money, and all of that is just materialistic things, right?
Very true.
And after a certain point, you want to get more of spiritual satisfaction than you want monetary satisfaction, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's interesting. There is a reason why when we met at the Young Professionals event, I was
100%.
like, this is gonna be a good friendship.
100%,
Like
100%. And how great is that that connection, right? Jordan Thompson,
Mhm.
what a great guy he is to like put all of that together, right?
Right. And yeah, I think I've been going to those events for 6-7 years now.
Oh, wow.
And he's been trying to tell me like, just become a member. I'm still not a member, but I go to
Wait. So I am a member. I have been paying my dues, and I don't go. So how can you go without being a member?
So a lot of times I cannot go, but when I go, I pay to get in.
Oh, I
And
see. What do you pay to get in?
I think it's like $10 to $15.
I'm gonna have to call Jordan here real quick and up your numbers here, man. I saw your Rolex right there.
So what I'm saying is like on an annual basis, if I attend 5 events out of the 10, I'm paying $50 instead of $100. I'm Indian. I'm very good with numbers.
Are you saying that you are?
Say it.
No, I can't say that word.
No, I'm very efficient with my money.
Yeah. Thank you very
Were
much.
you gonna call me cheap?
Thank you very much for so eloquently putting it.
Yes, I'm very efficient with my money. But the thing for me was like, because I could not attend all the events in the year, which I knew I could not, and it happens on a Wednesday, and Wednesday is the middle of the week, and it's prime time business time, right? And he hosts this event at 6 p.m., which is prime time business hour towards the end of the day, right?
Very true.
And there's so many contracts I have to sign, so many things I have to go over. So it was usually not possible.
Very true.
Right. And there was an event last week actually this week, which I could not attend. It was this Wednesday.
They should sign up for text message updates, man. Then
Yeah, I mean, I knew about the event. I knew about the event,
How
but
did you know about? Oh yeah.
Facebook. Yeah, I knew about the event, but
see, like I'm not doing like social media. So they have to sign up for
text messages.
updates.
But either way, it's like I still have it on my calendar, but I still could
Is
not
it like
make
every third?
every third Wednesday. Yes, Young Professionals of Atlanta. So yeah, another shout out to Jordan for making this connection.
Jordan, that's right.
Right.
Jordan Thompson.
Jordan Thompson. Yeah, JT.
But
But
they were
yeah,
just celebrating their second wedding anniversary.
I know. Yeah. The interesting part was I actually was coming to Jordan to say hi at the event. I think it was Five Church. I want to say it was Five Church when I met you.
Yeah, it was outside.
And then we three have a picture together,
we do.
right? And I was
posted
like,
it on Instagram.
right.
The three of us.
And I walked in and I was like, that guy knows how to pull off a suit.
That's right.
You know I'm always in a suit, right? I looked at you and I was like, this guy knows how to pull off a suit. Let me go talk to him. And
That's right.
and the rest is history. And here we
100%,
are.
100%.
Having this conversation, you being part of my season 1 of the podcast,
There you
right?
go.
And we also have similar stories. We moved to the country around the same time, and we're both entrepreneurs now, doing well for ourselves. We how to say it humbly? We do okay.
We do okay. That's right.
We do
And
okay.
of course, clearly by the grace of God and the grace of America. You know what I mean? Like I could not be doing what I'm doing if I was in Germany, and it's 100%, it's a fact. And yeah, I mean, like my unconditional love for the United States.
Yeah, it's very similar for me as well. Like, because I'm in IT, I think this being the IT hub and the startup hub in the world, I think I could not have done what I've achieved here if it wasn't here, right?
Right.
So we all found our way to here in the land of the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm glad we crossed paths.
Absolutely.
It's definitely very inspiring, even for me. Like even at this point in my life, where honestly I feel like every single dream that I saw when I was 10 years old, I've achieved all of it.
Wow.
Even then, it's inspiring to meet people that have achieved similar
Wow.
things, achieved things that are better than I have.
Your family comes to visit?
Yeah.
They're so proud of you.
Yeah, I would hope so.
My dad just sent me an email this morning. My mom's visiting right now. Not that I left her alone. She's on a Dixieland tour. How do you say Dixie? Southern say Südstaaten tour.
Mm-hmm.
Right now with her best friend for 2 weeks traveling around. And my dad just sent me an email this morning. And he said, man, I'm so proud of you. And it feels good, right?
Yeah, it feels good, right?
Right.
Right. But it also for me, I love inspiring stories, right? I love people that may or may not have been dealt the best cards in the world, but made the most out of it. For me, that speaks a lot about character, drive, determination, and
100%.
And I like to surround myself with people like that, because a lot of times, like sometimes you get carried away. You need somebody to check you, like, hey,
Yes, that's what you have family for,
right?
That unconditional love when they can be like, bro, calm the fuck down, man.
Exactly.
What the fuck are you doing?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You've been there?
Yes, I have.
I
been
sure
there
have.
So many times.
I sure have.
So many times. Like even when I was starting my own company, this was way back in 2017, 2018. And I would have like my childhood friends tell me, bro, you sure? You sure you want to do this? And I was like, yeah.
And it's good. It's good to have that. It's good to have that to have people to put you in check.
Right. So what happens is like either you're going to be very confident about the direction you're taking, or you're going to learn something new.
Who were you?
Both. So there were a lot of times, like even while we're recording this podcast, I have a lot of people that have given me a lot of feedback. Some good, some not so good. There are some things that I want to keep core, like I want us to have a good time regardless of whatever, right? I don't want to script the content. I don't want it to have a structure. I want it to just flow in the direction it's flowing, right? So that's just something I want to do as part of this, right? We get to talk whatever we want to talk, right? Instead of catering to like, hey, this is going to get me more likes, right? So those are the advices I did not take, right? And I was like, no, I'm more confident. Like, I just want to focus on the content. But then some people told me about like, hey, maybe you can hold the mic closer because the audio is not okay. And that's like, oh, that's a learning experience. Okay, maybe my technique might not be the best. Maybe that's something that I need to learn.
That's
right.
Good.
So you get
have
both.
People to put you in check.
Right. So you get all of this, right? And a lot of times when you're looking at your own work, you don't see it as a third person perspective. No matter how hard you try, there's still going to be a personal bias to it, right? So you need those voices in your head, and you need friends like those that are constantly honest to you. And I'm somebody that enjoys constructive criticism, right? Somebody who can
You celebrate it.
Sorry?
You celebrate it.
I celebrate it, right? Honestly, when people check me, I'm like, I want to keep you close in my life because you're somebody that is honest to me regardless of anything. Like you don't care about it ruining our relationship.
100%.
You're focused on being
100%.
honest to me.
And these are the people that you want to keep in your life.
Exactly. I'm like,
100%.
that's not gonna ruin our relationship. That's just gonna strengthen it.
It's
because you're real
it's
to
gonna make
me.
it better. It's gonna make it better. Exactly.
Exactly,
100%.
because you're real to me.
Exactly.
right?
Because I mean, nobody wants to have those ass kisses. Right? So people are like, oh man, Lalwani, AJ, I love your podcast. I love everything about it. No, you want the people that are real with you. You want the people that the straight shooters. So if you have straight shooters in your life, man, you can be thankful for those.
Mm-hmm. I am
100%.
I am, and yeah, they're definitely a blessing. And
100%.
I feel I may have done something good throughout my life.
Where would you say you have more straight shooters? You in America or back home in India?
Back home in India.
Is that so?
So they have known me since I was a kid, right? So they have seen me grow from, the I don't even know the words to describe me. So a big loser to who I am today. So they have seen that entire growth hierarchy, right? Starting from the bottom, now we're here, right? So they know all my flaws, and they have accepted me with all my flaws, and everybody wants to see me succeed. Like I have actually had conversations with people where they would just call me and like, hey, I really love what you're doing. I just wanted to say that to you. That's it. And they would disconnect the call.
Wow.
Right? Like I have nothing bad to say, nothing good to say. Just, I want to tell you, you're doing great. I just wanted to give you some positive vibes. All right.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, these are the kind of people that you need around your life, right? We usually talk about, hey, there are only some people you can tell bad news to, right? But I also feel that there's only some people that you can tell good news to.
Very true.
And somebody that will tell you, like,
a lot of sense. That
right?
makes a lot of sense.
Like, I am proud of you rather than, oh, I'm jealous of your success.
Yeah.
I am somebody that wants to bring everybody up. That's how I was raised, and that's who I'm always going to be. Like, if not you specifically, but if somebody ever tells me like, hey, I'm in need, I'm going to be like, all right, I'll come help you.
No.
Right. And that's just who I am as a person.
No.
And when I see that in other people, I'm like, yes, I need that energy around me, because, I think the world needs more of people that are more helpful than jealous.
100%.
Does that make sense?
100%.
Like I want to be part of, like, even if today you tell me like, hey, I closed this multi-billion-dollar deal, and 6% of that makes me a millionaire in just one deal, I will come out, no matter what, I'll come out celebrate with you.
There you go.
Right? Like,
there you go.
You being part of my life, I will celebrate every win in your life.
Absolutely.
And I would expect the same from you. Like,
Absolutely.
When I do something good, I'll call you like, hey, you know what? I made it. You remember that dream that I had? I made it.
Wait. So there is a I made it for you. What would that I made it? What would that conversation? What would that accomplishment that you just accomplished look like if you were to give Kilian Rief the call, say like, hey AJ, what's up? And you say, Kilian, I made it. What did you just accomplish?
Okay. So like I said, like I've achieved everything that my 10-year-old self wanted, right?
Right.
Today I'm in a position where I celebrate even the smallest of wins, right? So it could be like, hey, my podcast hit 500 subscribers. Yo, let's go out celebrate.
That's what's up.
Right?
And you're gonna give me a call?
Of course, man. Of course. And that's how I am today. And it took a lot of work, and it took a lot of growth in me as well to get to a point where, I'm like celebrating even the smallest wins, because, life is not about the big milestones. It's about the small moments, right?
Absolutely.
If you wait for big milestones, you're celebrating only 10 things in your entire life. Whereas if you, make every single day of your life a celebration, you're winning in life, right?
They talk about adding years to your life, right? Through whatever they're doing now in the labs, right? You can add X amount of years to your life. But what I don't hear is adding X amount of life to your years.
Ooh, that's deep.
I know, right? But I mean, if you really think about it, and it starts with the simplest task that everybody can and should do every single day in every single fucking moment is being mindful about what you're being mindful about. Like right now, you and I, we're sitting right here, and you and I, we ought to be mindful about us sitting right here. You know what I mean? And like not going through the motions, but actually going through them, knowing you're going through them.
Right. It's just being present in the moment.
That's right. And never ever letting the day fuck you, but you're fucking the day.
That just sounds weird, but I'll take
That's
it. I'll take it.
Well, I get that. I get that.
Fucking the day.
Well, no, you know, you're always on top of it. You know what I mean? Like, and that just boils back to my number one philosophy in life is that whatever happens to you happens for you, and it doesn't matter, because the only thing that matters is how you're going to adjust to it. What are you going to do about it?
Right.
That's it.
So you tell me, when will you give me a call saying, yo, AJ, let's go out and celebrate. I made it. What would that moment look like?
8 years ago, 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, every single year I'm going to give you that call. Every single year in my life, I'm going to give you that call saying, hey, man, I made it.
So this year you better fucking call me, because you haven't called me for 8 years.
I want to give you a call every single year telling you, hey, man, I made it, because there is no such thing as I made it. What the fuck's going to happen afterwards? You know, you're going to you're going to approach a cliff and then jump off and that's it. You made it. No, man, you're never going to make it. That's progress, right? That's life. Life is always about pushing forward, learning more things, fucking doing this, fucking meeting new people, fucking learning how to fucking, what is this? The drums, man. Learning new shit, you know what I mean?
Right.
You're never done. You never got it. I got it. You never made it. You never made it. You know, look at all those like famous people, you know, that made it. They get addicted to something because they're not fulfilled within themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, their heart is not filled with love. Their heart is not filled with whatever it is that they don't even know they ought to be looking for, because they found what society taught them to be looking for, which is fame, money. I mean, I don't know what else, I guess, whatever and whatnot, right? And then they're standing in front of this cliff and be like, oh shit, I look back and I have everything that everybody always told me I should have. Well, I guess there's nothing else. Okay, bye. Amy Winehouse, you know, all those beautiful people that unfortunately took an early end to their life is probably because they did not search deeply within themselves to find their true purpose in life.
Question then. So consider you being 100 years old on your deathbed. I want you to touch 100 just because. And you're about to die, right? You have maybe 2 minutes to go. Do you think you're going to close your eyes and say to yourself, I'm satisfied with my life?
Me, I'm 100 years old. I'm satisfied with my life. Yes.
Okay. I don't think I will be.
Why not?
I think I would still want more.
Want more?
I think I would still not be like, I've achieved everything that I wanted to. I've reached wherever I wanted to. I think I'm somebody that's like a lifelong learner. I'm somebody that wants to constantly do better, be better, get better,
yes,
learn
absolutely,
more.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just building on the point that we were talking about, that
Very true,
I don't think I will ever be in a position where I would say, enough. Like I'm done. I won't say like I'm done with life, because I think my life for me is a very big gift, right? And I think that at any given point, I don't think I will have enough of it.
Let me then rewind on when I said I made it.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a call when I'm 100 years old or however old I will be.
So what you're saying is you're never going to call me.
No. I'm going to say.
Like you've not been calling me since
I'm
2016.
I'm saying I'm going to give you that call 2 minutes before my deathbed when I'm going to give you that call and I made it. So to me, when I made it is when ideally you want to lay with your partner, my partner who I love to death, in the deathbed with all the loved ones surrounding you right before you cross over and you say, I made it. You know what I mean?
Adios, amigos.
Adios. I made it. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right.
Because love, like the only thing that remains, the only thing that remains in life is love, right? The only thing that everything we have, everything we own, houses, cars, watches, shoes, all of that is only bullshit.
Right.
All of that will rot and fall apart. And the only thing that will be left in life is what is in your heart.
Right. So one of the things that I usually like, this is something that I think I should patent this, but this is something that I usually tell people, right? So I am somebody that does not attach feelings to things. For me, feelings are reserved for people and relationships.
How can you attach feelings to things?
Because people get too attached to, oh, my car, my plan, my this, my that, right? And then they start naming things. I know people that name their cars. They
Fuck,
name
is
their
that not the
shoes.
weirdest thing? Is that not the weirdest thing ever? How many people in your life do you know that have a name for their fucking car?
Too many.
And how many times did you think to yourself, bro, that's just fucking like, I don't know about that. I mean, like, I don't want to put judgment on anyone, but I have had friends in my life that gave a name to a materialistic bullshit thing that's going to rot and fall apart in 30 years from now. And I'm like, uh-huh.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, so do a lot of human bodies, right? In 30 years, they rot and fall apart. But for me, I feel that attaching yourself to something materialistic takes away from the emotions you can have for your friends and family.
Absolutely, that makes
right.
a lot of sense.
Like you're taking away the love that they deserve, and you're putting it in something that's inanimate, right? Like when you're crying, your car's not going to come up to you and give you a hug.
That's a great word. Let me get out my app here real quick. Translate that into German. Do you have a German translation app?
It's Google Translate.
All right, here we go. Google Translate. Inanimate. Here, put it in and tell me and read it in German. Read it in German to me. Inanimate. That sounds so beautiful and profound, my friend. And read it. That's the whole point of it. At least try.
This is gonna be inanimate. Okay, so inanimate means leblos.
Leblos. Oh yeah, say it in a
context. Animate is something that moves and has expressions.
Makes a lot of sense,
right?
Yeah.
So like a car cannot express sadness, cannot express happiness, cannot be supportive
without life.
Right. Yes, without life. Right.
Without love.
So one of those things, right? Like, why would you put so much? Like, why would you take emotion away from your friends and family and give it to something that will not be there for you when
100%, man. And I love you for saying that. The only thing that makes us human is emotions.
Exactly.
And the only thing why we love people is emotions. And because like when they are emotionally connected to themselves and allow themselves to express their emotions the way they feel them towards another person, towards whatever and whatnot. Wow. That's called authenticity.
Right.
So, and isn't that the best thing ever?
Exactly.
Like you meet a fucking person and you're like, fuck me, dude. Like, well, not like that.
I am definitely not cutting this.
But well, you shouldn't. You really shouldn't. But because I'm proving a point, because you're like, wow, this person is fucking authentic, and I fucking love him for him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that it all boils down to the handshake profoundness that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. So coming back to that 100-year-old question, right? I am so happy that when you were on your deathbed, the first thing you thought about was like, my friends or family are around me, and you're gonna tell me, hey, I made it. You know I'm gonna be there, right? Because somebody's gonna pop a champagne because you 100.
for my translation.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, he made it. He lived a good life. Let's drink to that.
True, right? So like, think about the way I was brought up. At a funeral, everybody wears black. How fucking depressing is that shit?
You're wearing black right now.
Well, because I look good in black.
I'm just
Because I look good in black.
That is true.
But usually
You do look good in black, though.
wearing black. Usually you in black, I appreciate that. Usually wearing black, at a funeral is like, how do you say? It's like the norm,
Mm-hmm.
because you're expressing your feelings, which is usually dark and sad.
It's a Christian thing.
Is it for?
Mm-hmm. For Hindus, we wear white.
I see. Why do you wear white?
That is our way of expressing sadness
Is that so?
at a funeral. Yes.
So white, for you wearing white at a funeral, is for Christians wearing black at a funeral?
yes,
Wow.
and
So-
you wear white on the wedding day. So like the females wear a white wedding gown
at Christian wedding.
at Christian weddings,
How
whereas in Indian weddings, based on religion, it just changes. But Hindus wear red. Actually,
Wow.
not all Hindus wear red, but it just depends on where you're from and what your culture is.
What kind of colors you see?
So in the north, you would see a lot of red. In the east, you would see a lot of white with golden borders and stuff. So like you would have a sari that's white with a golden border. Whereas if you go south, I think some cultures do white with a red border. Like there's like so much diversity in how they do it, and the more modern they get, the more colors they add. So white basically is absence of color, right? So
makes sense.
that's something that we use to express grief, like absence of color.
Mhm.
Whereas the more colorful you get, it's like more happiness.
I see. Wow.
That's how we
Wow.
do it.
I mean, how beautiful is that, right?
I know, right? It's
So, like-
very interesting.
Yeah, I love
the
it.
more you travel, the more you learn. You're like, oh
100%.
shit.
100%,
Like-
right? So like, it's like back to that point. Is like in like you would wear black to resemble sadness
Mhm.
at a funeral. Like my cousin died he died in 2016 in a horrific motorcycle accident.
Sorry to hear that.
Well, yeah, thank you. He visited me maybe 2-3 weeks right before that happened. I had just moved to America. He went back to Germany. He was 2-3 years younger than I am. Was, however you say, passed away in a horrific motorcycle accident. And I don't understand, like, going to a funeral in colors that resemble sadness. You know what I mean? Like, it's a celebration of life. You know what I mean? Like when somebody passes, moves on, goes into the kingdom of God, into heaven, or whatever else happens, whatever you may or may not believe in. I think you should celebrate what they had on this earthly experience.
Regardless of how young they were, because I know for older people, you celebrate. Like if somebody maybe like 80 plus or
Not
something.
necessarily in Christian beliefs in the Western world, right? I mean,
Okay.
usually like it's usually like black, right?
Right, but you still like have a toast. You drink to
You
that. You drink to
always
the
kind of do
celebration
that.
of their life.
I see. Yeah.
But what you're saying is that regardless of how early or late they pass, we need to celebrate everybody's life, like everybody's journey through this plane.
I do think so. Yeah.
Like
because-
even if they pass away at 25,
Wow, that's a
because
It's a
they
tough
passed away
question.
too young, right? Would you still celebrate their life?
well. I mean, the only thing that you can do in that moment is because you cannot change the fact that they have moved on, that their souls, their bodies have moved on. The only thing you can do, the only thing that is left for you, is to celebrate and cherish the moments and memories that you have had with that very person.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're going to be a miserable person for the rest of your life because you're going to put yourself into misery thinking about that person,
Right.
rather than thinking about, like, now, like, I think about my cousin, and I cried cheerfully because the last memory I had with him was us being in a pool in Atlanta at my apartment complex, my 1-bedroom apartment complex on Virginia Avenue, 609 Virginia Avenue Northeast.
Why are you giving
In
people your
Atlanta.
address?
It's not my current address. It was an apartment complex that I was in with him and his best friend at the time, partying, celebrating life. You know what I mean? This is how I am remembering him, and this is the memory. This is the last memory of him. My last memory. Yeah.
So, you know how people say, I don't do XYZ because I'm high on life.
Absolutely.
Right? Do
Absolutely.
you think that you personally enjoy the kick of life more than alcohol, drugs, or well, now you're in a relationship, but when you were single, the attention, because you are a gorgeous looking man, the attention of the opposite sex, the attention from your clients, the success that you're getting, like all of these things that are part of your life, but not necessarily your life, right? But like little pieces of your life that give you validation every single day. Do you think that if we were to take all of those away, would you still enjoy life?
Well, I think first and foremost, the absolute first thing, and I'm going to say it because that's the first thing that comes to my mind, is when you find the right person, right? When you find the person that you think is meant to be with you, you don't care, you don't give a shit. You don't give a shit about it, right? You mentioned me being in a relationship, right? I love my girlfriend. We're gonna get married, we're gonna have children, and we're gonna
Does
live
she know about
happily ever after. Oh shit, it's gonna be all
did
over
you
now,
propose
right?
to her on air?
No. But so to come back to your point, and it's a very good question. It's a very valid question, and it's a profound question if you look at it in the right way. So everybody has an ego. The ego is what fucking fucks you up and makes you, or puts you into the bad spot, makes you say things that you don't want to say, makes you do things you don't want to do because you feel like the ego is pushing it out of it, right? And ego stems from acknowledgement from other people, appreciation from other people. It's all of that stuff that our society is trimmed to tell you that that's what you need in order to be successful, right? And so I guess to answer your question, I mean, it's more if you turn it around and look within yourself. If you look within yourself and you don't need the validation of other people, right? You look within yourself. There's a few people that you might want to make happy, right? It's yours. I mean, it sounds very egoistically, but I very truly and honestly believe that the very first person you need to satisfy is yourself. And it's a fact. You need to satisfy yourself before your wife, before your children. Because if you do not satisfy yourself, if you're unhappy with yourself, because if you do something to please your wife or your children that goes against your own personal values, you're not going to be your true personal self, and you're not going to be your best self. And so to answer your question, you got to validate yourself first, and then you don't care about the validation from the outside.
So there's so many thoughts in my head, so I'm just gonna go one by one, right?
Do it.
So ancient texts have some great knowledge, right? One of the things that is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, I don't know if you know about the book. It's a very sacred Hindu religious text, right? And it mentions something that says, "Insan ka sabse bada dushman uska ahankar hota hai," which translates to इंसान का सबसे बड़ा दुश्मन उसका अहंकार होता है, which translates to a man's biggest enemy is his own
himself.
ego,
There you go.
right? And this same thing, so this is a 5,000-year-old text, right? This same thing shows up in 16th century in a book by Sun Tzu, who is a Chinese general, and his book is called The Art of War. What we're talking about has got nothing to do with war, but it's
100%.
literally life, right? And even he mentions the easiest way to destroy your enemy is to focus on that enemy's ego.
Exactly. Getting
right?
into his head.
Because if the enemy is egotistical, they will destroy themselves. You don't even have to do anything
You
for
see
it.
it MMA fighters nowadays. Conor McGregor. You look at the UFC. I come from a background of MMA fighting back in Germany, and trash talking. When you look at that, right? Like Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather, they're like the epitome of exactly that. The art of war. When I was fighting back then, like what you want to do is you want to have the face off. You want to have the toe like looking at them, and you go underneath the belt line, right? You say nasty shit,
Right.
to get underneath your opponent's skin,
Right.
to hurt their ego. Because of course, just like what that general is talking about in the book, The Art of War, is because the very moment you're able to do that, it's like it's that psychological trick, is that the very moment that you get into your opponent's head, which is exactly what you're doing when you offend their ego, is the very moment you're able to control them. And the very moment you're able to control them is the very moment you defeat them.
Exactly. So it's more of a mental warfare rather than a physical warfare.
100%. MMA fighting, war, everything, life,
I was just about to say life.
Life. 99% is in your head.
Exactly.
99%.
Well, your perception drives your reality, right?
100%.
So how you see the world is how the world is.
It's
for
how
you,
the world is. Exactly.
right?
100%.
Regardless of whatever else is going on in your
Exactly.
life.
Yep.
So yeah, this is a very. My mom's gonna be very proud that I quoted Gita. I quoted some religious text.
Shout out.
Yeah, she's gonna be very proud. But it's funny that like all of this knowledge has been with us and has been passed down through generations, regardless of whatever your culture is, right?
Yep.
There's influence of cultures everywhere. People traveled here and there. Back in the day, there was information exchange, right? And everybody has been influenced by these good thoughts long before we were ever born, right? So it's interesting that people 5,000 years ago already figured out life, and we got to a point where now we're like,
Going
life,
backwards.
what? Like,
We're going backwards.
how do I do adulting? Well, this is a fun thing that I hear every day is how do I do adulting?
Right? Like literally we're going backwards. Like you see people, teenagers, becoming suicidal because of bullying. Do you think the Egyptians back then had issues that we're dealing with right now in our society?
I think it has to do more with self-esteem. I think they didn't care about self-esteem back then. Today we care a lot about self-esteem.
You don't think that they did back then? I mean, shit,
Because
the
there was
Roman
no social
Empire,
media,
man.
right? Your life was never
True,
online.
But ego has always been there. Ego has always been there in human nature, no?
But between 20 people versus 2 million people.
True.
Right? So I have known a lot of people that have started like either YouTube channels or WhatsApp channels or any of these social platforms where they want to put themselves out there. And the moment they hear some trash talk, which is something that you would naturally get, right? Not everybody's going to agree to what you have to say.
Sure.
Not everybody's going to disagree to what you have to say. Some people are going to be for, some people are going to be against, some people are going to be neutral. That's the law of the land, right? But there's so many people that enjoy trash talking, trolling, as they call it these days.
Trolling.
Right? That it takes a big toll on a lot of people that are trying to build themselves up. Because in today's world, I've noticed most people would want to see you fail because they can make a meme
How
out of
sad
you.
is that? How
They
sad
can
is
make
that?
a meme out of you.
How sad is that?
I
If you
know,
think about
right?
it, huh?
Like we live in a community where people are not supporting each other. We're like, oh, this is content. Let me shoot this. Like you would see so many Instagram pages just talking about like, oh, look how shitty this is.
Dude, that's the news today. Fox News, CNN News, all the fucking news that are out there right now have been out there. I mean, it's clickbait. You know,
Yeah.
you talk some, like the more provocative, the more bullshitty it is, the more clicks they get. It's sad. It is, however, what we love so much, which is capitalism.
Say what? What do we love? Say that louder.
Clickbait.
Clickbait.
It all boils down to what we all love so much. I mean, everybody's into profit sharing, you know, not profit sharing. I'm sorry. I said that wrong. I'm not a communist. Maximizing profits.
Right.
That's what it's about, right? And unfortunately, there's just so much power in the news channels, Fox News, CNN News, all these other bullshit channels, Instagram, fucking Facebook, all of that, and like that dangerous. So it's so dangerous. Like that part is like whatever pages, sides you like, be it left wing, right wing, middle wing, up wing, down wing, whatever the fuck you think you are part of, is that bullshit that these companies, those big companies, Facebook, Instagram, CNN, all those other companies, that's exactly that bullshit they're going to feed you. Why? To divide the people. You divide people to control people. And this is, in my opinion, the saddest part ever, is through division of the people comes control of the people.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you can control the people.
Which sucks in today's world, right? Like I think we need more of unity. We need more of like
100%.
accepting each other's differences,
100%.
learning from each other's
100%.
differences.
This is what America is. America is a unity of people of different colors, different backgrounds, different beliefs, different religions, different everything. You know, for example, in Germany, you go back 300 years in Germany, everybody in Germany was fucking Catholic or Protestant. That's it. You fast forward a couple hundred years and you go to the new world, which is America, the new world. And it is a melting pot of different people, of different colors, different races, different beliefs, different religions, everything different. And yet still, there is these fucking outlets that try to manipulate the people, to divide the people in order to control the people.
Yeah, power is a very powerful drug.
Unfortunately, it is. Unfortunately, it is. And as that saying goes, more power to the powerful, and power gets addictive.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And
yeah, it is one of those things, and it's crazy. Like we stopped being humans and of the same species,
you know,
and we just looked out for
the point is that this is exactly what he's talking about, right? He's talking about people don't give yourselves to these tyrants, these unnatural humans. You know, you're not men, you're not machines, you're men. You know, you're not
Right.
cattle, you're not cannon fodder.
Yeah. But yeah, so I do think we need more unity, more support, more people celebrating everybody's success,
each other,
yeah,
celebrating each other, right?
And more than helping or more than celebrating each other's success, we need more people that help each other when the other person's failing.
Oh, that's nice.
We need more support. We need more people that stand by other people through their flaws.
That's nice.
Right? So I'm somebody that does not believe in second chances. I'm somebody that believes in third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh chances.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Thank you for following it up, because I was like, fuck me. So I'm a shitty friend to you one time and that's it. No, man. But thank you for that. No,
but you know, like, because people talk about first impressions, and most people don't have the best first impression, right? And people grow on you like fine wine, right? You give it some time, or sushi, right? You give it some time and it just gets better with the taste palettes that develop in you, right? um and I do feel that humans should be allowed to make mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes, right? And cutting somebody off just because they messed up one time or they did not align with you that one time, I think it's stupid.
You ever had to cut somebody off because they just screwed you over too much?
I have been cut off
You have been cut off.
because of one-off unagreeable decisions.
Recently?
It has happened throughout my life.
I see. Well, see, I say good for you.
I don't know how well that's a good way to see it, good for me, but I also feel that I may have grown better if I was told like, hey, this is where I think you did not do your best. This is how you could have done your best. And I would have had something to learn from it. There's this whole ghosting culture these days, right? Like people would just like disappear from your life and you wouldn't even know about it, right? And that's when that honesty comes in, like, hey, I really care about you. This is what I think. This is how you did. And let's find a middle ground.
Right, true. Very
right?
true.
So I am somebody that does not believe in second chances. I believe in third, fourth, fifth, sixth.
Same.
Like I will
that.
do as much as possible to make sure that that we don't start cutting off people, right?
No.
Like everybody has a different growth journey. Everybody has a different arc.
Yes, and I guess in addition to that, however, I do believe that there are certain values you and I carry for ourselves, and there's always a reason. Did I ever cut somebody off? Maybe, probably I did, but probably because their values did not align with my values no more. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Meaning I had to cut somebody off because I was just like, bro, you're just not on my fucking level anymore, and the fucking shit that you were into, I'm like, yo. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like it's a value driven decision, right?
So there's a funny thing, not really a funny thing, but something that I read pretty recently is like you outgrow people when you outgrow a part of your life that was associated with that
people.
person.
Absolutely.
Right? So if, say, for example, like when you were younger and you would ride a bicycle to school, right? And then when you outgrow that part of your life, then everybody that talks about riding bicycles to XYZ place may not interest you as much. Yeah. Because you outgrew that part of your life. Yeah. I'm just using a basic example of a bicycle, right? But that's how it is. Like when you outgrow a part of your life, then you outgrow everybody that was associated with that part of your life. Yeah. Unless they also
grow with you
in that direction.
Yeah.
Like everybody has a different growth journey, right? If they grow in the same direction as you or similar direction as you, then you still continue to be in close contact with them. Yeah. But if they go in a different direction, then there's only so much you can do.
Very true.
Right.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I totally agree with that. And you also have like two types of relationships with people. One is a value based and one is a phase based. So sometimes you're in a phase where, hey, I'm in a hustle culture. Like all I want to do is just make money. And in that phase of your life, you will make friends that are in that phase of their lives, right? But the only relationships that last the longest is if you share the same values. Like, hey, I want to be ethical. I don't want to make money the wrong way. 100%. I don't want to cheat people. I want to, always stay true to my word.
I agree more with you.
Right? And then you're going to stay closer to those people throughout your life.
Absolutely.
But then you are going to have people that you are close to in certain phases of your life. Absolutely. So phase-based relationship versus
Absolutely. I
value
couldn't
base.
agree more with
Just
you.
adding on to what you were saying.
And I feel like the people that share same values with you are the people that, like, look at your life, for example, right now, and look at the friends that you have had for a decade or more, or those people of the later, meaning like, are those people that share the same values, right? Like my partner, right? Like she and I, we have the same values moving forward, same values. We share the same values, what we want, what we look forward to. And I feel like this is, I mean, of course, clearly same with a relationship with your partner, but also with your friends, right? I mean, of course, like your best friends, you share the same, or at least very similar values.
Right.
And then, as you said, the phases, there are certain phases you go through, you know, like whatever. Somebody might have just gotten broken up with, so they're in the party phase and like in the whatever promiscuous phase. And so they much rather affiliate themselves with promiscuous friends who are like, you know, in the party mode or whatnot, to where, you know, shit, dude, my girl and I, man, dude, I'm the happiest, man, when I have a drink with her and maybe some of my other friends who are in the same phase, who share our same values, when we watch a movie together and just have a drink, or not even a drink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Values.
Is your girlfriend German?
She's American.
Oh, she's American.
Born and raised in Kennesaw. Absolutely.
Nice. So American.
American.
And she's a Georgia peach.
And a Georgia peach as well.
How'd you meet her?
Well,
I'm gonna dig deeper in your personal life.
Oh, please do, man. Hey, you know, I'm an open book, right? I'm an open book because remember, straight out of fucks to give.
I know. That's why I need more of this juicy stuff now.
The coolest story is we met through mutual friends.
Mutual friend being Tinder.
Close. Mutual friend being Instagram. Mutual friend being Instagram. So
did you slide into her DMs?
What do you think, man?
Of course,
she's a beautiful,
of course you did.
Successful, sophisticated woman. She wouldn't message me. Look at. No.
I mean, you're a beautiful, successful human too.
Again, I appreciate that. It makes it 3.
So what'd you say to her?
I said, "Happy birthday." That was the very first. That was the very first sentence I sent to her.
Okay.
And she responded straight up. She was in Puerto Rico for her birthday celebration, 31st birthday celebration, and she said, "Thank you." And I said, she responded.
Oh,
you know what it means.
Yes,
you've been single
I
before.
know,
You know what it means when you.
I'm
slide
single right
into
now
a
too.
Beautiful. So you know what it means when a girl responds to a random dude's DMs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. And ever since then, man, we hit it off, man. I don't know. I've been blessed by God in so many ways, to where I have had knowledge of people, where I look at a picture even, and it goes down beyond looking in the eyes, but I feel like I have the ability to look into a person's soul.
Ooh.
When I look into the person's eyes, right? And so I was just looking at the pictures. I was like, wow.
That's like hauntingly beautiful. Like
well, don't look at me like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's creepy, but it's beautiful. Like, it's like one of those things.
And it sure is, man. And I tell you, I'm not even fucking with you when I tell you. I picked you up for our first date, August 4th, 2022. Love at first sight. I'm not even fucking joking.
I love a story like that.
I bet you do.
Oh my God.
I bet you do.
So I come from a land of Bollywood. So we have like this extravagant musical
Bollywood
movies.
parties.
I know, right? And
shit,
and yeah.
do you actually like Bollywood movies?
Yes, I love
Really?
them. Love them.
Fuck, I have actually never gotten into them. Is there like one that's like standing out that's like the best of the best?
I don't know. It just depends.
Well, no, tell me, like, do you have one favorite Bollywood movie?
That will make you believe in love at first sight. Is that what you're talking about?
In general, if I was to ask you, your
There are
favorite
different movies for
Bollywood-
different contexts.
What kind of Oh well, I mean, I guess
So
just like
so if
Hollywood,
you're talking about love stories, definitely recommend Dilwale Jenge, DDLJ for short.
Oh, what? Say that 3 times fast.
So just remember DDLJ. So most Indian movies have long names, so we just cut them to acronyms. So DDLJ.
Yeah.
That is one of those movies I will recommend you watch. It actually takes place in Switzerland.
Oh, is that true?
Right. They take a Euro trip from one takes it from, actually they both take it from London to Zurich.
Oh. On
And
a train?
They fly to Switzerland, I think to Zurich, and then they travel by train around Switzerland. And then the protagonist and the girl, like both of them, actually miss their train. And then they take a car journey to catch up to the train. And that's when they fall in love together. It's a very beautiful story.
Oh, look at that.
And then the girl moves.
Well, don't we all love a love story now?
I know, right?
Huh? Isn't that what life's about? Well, if I was to ask you now, AJ, what's the point of life?
Hey, I thought I was the one asking deep questions. What do I think is the point of life? I think the point of life is, for me at least, firstly, is to leave the world a better place than where I found it. Right. Second, is to help as many people as possible to achieve what they want to achieve. Third, is to spread as much love and joy amongst people as you can.
Very nice.
And just try to be a positive influence in people's lives, to the world. Just emit as much positivity as you can in the world, and just make it a better place.
I love that.
That's
you know what? Let's cheers to that.
Cheers to that, man.
That was beautifully said.
Thank you. What do you think the point of life is?
To me, it's one simple word, and this is indeed what, in my opinion, the reason why we are all on this beautiful planet and are all experiencing this beautiful experience called life, and it's love. I've got it tattooed all over my body so many times. It's love.
So you just got like love. What are you trying to memorize it? Was that a punishment? You know, back in the day when we were in school, you would write like, "I'm sorry" 100 times.
I was hoping for you to get that after our last hour or two. That'd be a little bit more deep than just tattooing love. No, but yeah, you still like, and again, well, the Jungle Book, I think, is talking about the energy of the nature. I'm very I love Native American energies and religions or cultures so much.
Jungle Book is Indian, by the way. Like Indian.
Yeah, of course, Mowgli, right?
Like my Indian.
Mowgli, yeah. No, well, yeah. Yes. Of course, I was not
I'm just
intertwining
kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time. Sorry, continue.
Please. No, so but what I'm saying is that what I love about both cultures so much, Indian and Native American, is the fact that incorporating nature into your being, meaning like your being is nature and nature is your being, meaning this is where you come from, this is where you emanate from, and this is where you go to. This is where you come from. This is the circle of life.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Jungle Book's circle of life, right? And I love that so much because if you look at it, if you think about it, the only thing that really matters is the love that you give. Because the more love you give is the more love you will receive. It doesn't matter about what you receive, because the only thing that matters is what you give.
What you give, right.
The only thing that matters is what you give.
Also, circle of life is Lion King.
Oh, shit. So Lion King is not Mowgli, right?
No, it's not.
Damn. So Mowgli is Mowgli and Lion King
Mowgli is Jungle Book. Mowgli is that one... Mowgli is where
so
it's
I was
like
talking
Tarzan.
About Lion King. So I was talking about Lion King, not Mowgli at all.
Exactly.
Sorry.
It's fine.
Sorry, bro.
It's fine. And I was like, hey, the story which you're saying is from a different book altogether.
It's the comics, right? It's the comics, man. It's a long time ago. No, so I was talking not about Mowgli. Sorry, bro. I still love Mowgli.
Yeah. But you're talking about Simba.
But I was talking about, exactly, Simba in the circle of life, right? The circle of life.
Mm-hmm.
You give more than you receive.
Right.
And this is true in every single aspect of life. Like going back to what we first talked about business, you always put yourself last.
Right.
And this is, no, don't get me wrong. You always put yourself last in certain aspects of giving. Now, if it comes to thinking about other people, what they would be thinking about yourself, this is when you have to put yourself first, because you should never, ever be feeling like you're walking on eggshells to where, oh, I don't want to do this because then I think I might be hurting this person. No, fuck all this shit. Do your way, go your way, but always give more than you receive.
Right. So the second point that I was going to mention from the previous conversation is this how our human body works, right? When you see, so your lungs oxygenate your blood, and from your lungs, it goes to the heart. The first thing the heart does is oxygenates itself. It takes care of itself first, and then pumps blood to the rest of your body. Yep. Right. So as long as you're not taken care of, you cannot take care of absolutely anything that depends on you.
Just like in the plane, right? When the pressure gets below,
right,
take care of yourself first before you take care of others.
Exactly. And even in the plane, they tell you, right, put your mask on first before you put it on anybody else.
Because even if you were Mother Teresa, you could not help that many people as you could if you were to put the mask on yourself first.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's also another point that I wanted to, highlight, that, it's important to make sure that you're taking care of yourself so that you can better take care of people around you.
Absolutely.
Because there are a lot of people that in this world that right now need a lot of direction, need a lot of
100%.
I think assurance, like more than direction, they need assurance, like, hey, you got this.
Absolutely.
Like, everybody has answers to the questions themselves.
Yeah.
They just need somebody to tell them, like, you got this.
Absolutely.
So a lot of times, like, even when I see a lot of, like, you see a lot of homeless vets, right? And it's sad to see that they're in this situation after serving the country for so long. One of the things that I always like tell them is like, hey, this too shall pass.
Well, that's
and
a
you
good one.
got this.
This too shall pass.
Right? Like it's one of the most humbling lines ever, right? Like, if you are the most richest person in the world, this too shall pass. And if you're the most poorest person in the world, this too shall pass. Right? It's so like good, something that will build you up and something that will humble you every single time.
There's this great entrepreneur in Atlanta, Jesse Itzler, started many great companies.
I thought you were going to say Lalwani, but sure. I'm just kidding.
Soon I will.
In your next podcast. I'm just kidding.
I know, right?
Right. Sorry, continue.
Soon I will. And, well, I mean, basically what he's talking about is...
Did you forget?
Yeah, probably.
Too much Yamazaki.
Yamazaki, is that how you call it?
Yeah, it's a Japanese whiskey. 2019
Japanese whiskey?
Best whiskey in the world.
Nice. No, I did not forget. But what he's saying is, like, he's a great entrepreneur. He's married to Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, and such a beautiful story behind Spanx, right? Everybody knows it. I don't have to get into it too much. You're gonna have another one too?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So he's saying, like, he's a beautiful family father of 4 children, if I'm right. And he carves out 3 hours a day for himself in order for him to be his best version of himself, for his wife, for his 4 children. He has to carve out 3 hours a day. And now 3 hours a day out of 24 hours might seem so little, but let's say you sleep 6 hours a day, you work another 8 hours a day. So what, we're up at 14, and you had another, it's going to get 3 hours a day. Could you carve out 3 hours a day? You could, if you were to make it a priority. So what he's talking about is he's making it a priority to carve out 3 hours a day for himself. And he does that, and he gets approval from his whole family to carve out 3 hours a day for himself in order to be the best version of himself for his wife, for his children. And I think this is so important because if you have the ability to center yourself into that mindfulness state of trying to become or trying to be the best version of yourself, every person that you are going to interact with in your life, personally, professionally, on every single level, is going to appreciate it so much.
Do you think most people actually do that in today's world?
Fuck no. Most people don't even take time for a 15-minute meditation. Dude, look at the world today. We see so many Karens, dude. I get so worked up about that because there's so many people, when I look at them, how they go through life, I'm like, girl, this is not a problem. I deal with problem makers all the time on the phone, right? One of the reasons why I am so successful in what I do is because I meditate and I have very little fucks to give about things that there shouldn't be no fucks to give about. However, there are people that give many fucks about those things that they actually shouldn't care about, and that consumes their time that they should actually be spending on stuff that actually makes them happy and fulfills their heart, their soul, their mind, their body. And so this is the head start that people that actually do that work on themselves, that practice mindfulness, meditation. You start with meditation. I do this work. I try to do it 20 times a day, where you inhale for 5 seconds, you keep it in for 5 seconds, you exhale for 5 seconds, and you keep it out for 5 seconds. And then you inhale again for 5 seconds, and you repeat that 20 times. You know how fucking relaxed you're at afterwards.
It's a very ancient yoga technique. You're just trying to be Indian now.
Is that so? Is
yes.
it? Is it?
It's yoga, yes. It's
So
called
I learned
pranayama.
it somewhere.
It's called
picked it up
pranayama.
somewhere. But
Yeah.
it fucking relaxes your core. It chills you the fuck out, and it does not get you upset about dumb shit that doesn't matter.
Right. So I'm gonna ask you a very, very, very deep question.
Shoot.
What do you think is the source of your happiness?
The way I have developed my mind.
Okay. Elaborate.
I think every person has the power to be the absolute happiest version of themselves if they develop the opportunity to dig deeper into who the fuck they actually really are. I think many people don't actually know who they are. They don't know themselves. They never took time alone to dig deep. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Meaning NLP, right? NLP, neuro linguistic programming, is such an important part in understanding why you are who you are. You know? The human mind develops from the age of 5 to, I would say, 9. Don't quote me on it. But this is when you're getting the most influence, probably from your parents, your siblings. And their actions, their behaviors is going to reflect on how you are going to do, act, be in the future. And the very moment when you actually dive deep into why you're doing what you're doing, when you're doing it, and you analyze it and you have the ability to look at your own mind, is the very moment you can change that and affect that through your own chemical metabolism in your own head through affirmations, visualizations, to basically interject a thought. If there is a depressive person who wakes up in the morning and says, fuck, now I'm going to have to go to my same motherfucking job that I fucking hate and I can't stand. Now I'm going to have to do that again. That person can interject that thought without any of those pills. They don't need no pills to do that. But they need a strong mind. They can develop a strong mind to do that and interject it and develop the best the best version of themselves.
But what's your source of happiness? That's what I want to know.
That's what
I want to know a personal thing. Like,
There you
okay,
go.
so you give me a general idea,
Absolutely.
but I want to know, Kilian, when you wake up and you say, "Huh, I'm happy," or when you go to bed, you put your head on the pillow and be like, "I had a good day. I'm happy with my life." I don't know if you're currently living with your girlfriend or no.
I am.
You are. So you hold her and you're like, "Hey, I'm happy. I'm satisfied where I am
Absolutely.
with my life," right? Apart from being with this great human being that you have as part of your life, what else in combination makes it an amazing day for Kilian?
There you go. Great question, right?
I know, like, I'm one of those people.
There you go, man. Yeah, and I want to give it to you straight. So it's basically straight shooting, which means it's my mind. It's the thoughts you think, the thoughts you make yourself think. Let's say, for example, like I go to bed and I lay in bed and I thank God for that beautiful, amazing night I just had, for the amazing woman that lays herself down to bed with me, that I get to wake up with me right next to my side again in the morning. But when I go to bed, I thank God for all the beautiful experience that I've had, even if I have had a fucking shitty fucking day, because even you can be the most positive person, but sometimes, as I told you earlier today when we were downstairs, I said, fuck, sometimes I feel like life is just testing you.
Mm-hmm.
Life is just testing you at times. There may be times, like as a real estate agent, the very moment you go on vacation is the very moment shit hits the fan.
Right.
It's the very moment 20 people are going to give you a call and say, come here, come do this, come do that. And everything is, your life plays out in your mind. You control your mind, you control your life, you control where you're going. The very moment you lose control of your mind, you float down the river, is the moment you lose. You, in my opinion, well, in life, you ought to stay in control while still, remember what I said earlier, while still being able to incorporate that mental state of uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, like, I'm always in control, but I'm not. Isn't that nihilism?
Yes.
Isn't that nihilism?
I like it. I like it.
It is. It's nihilism, man. It's nihilism, man. And it really is. It truly is, because you have to know where you want to go, when you want to get there. Through the law of manifesting, through the law of attraction, you got to know exactly what you want, when you want to be there, when you want to have it, while still being able to accept whatever comes and floats your way. One of my best friends, we were staying in front of our cars and he had a flat tire. We parked in front of one of the restaurants. We were looking at it, and he's on the same level I'm at mentally. And we were looking at it, and I said, "Hey man, you have a flat tire." And he had no idea. He was looking at it. He had an appointment to go to as a real estate agent as well. He was looking at it, and he was like, "Oh shit, I guess I do." I was like, "Huh, well, what can you do?" He's like, "Not much, because you cannot change what happens to you. The only thing you can change is how you're going to act or react towards it." Other people would be getting upset, be like, "Fuck, now I missed my appointment." He was like, "Well, fuck me, I can't change it." So you're going to do the best out of that situation.
It's more about how you respond rather than react.
100%.
Right?
Always. Right?
So I have a question for you then. What is one advice you would give me? Since we both have a very similar life trajectory, we have both have had similar thought processes, and we've lived a very interesting life. What is one thing that you wanna give me as an advice? Like, hey, this is one thing I have learned from my journeys in life. I don't know if you've already learned this, or regardless of my journey, if there is one thing that you have learned in your life that you want to tell me as your best friend.
AJ, to me, you seem like a very, very successful young man who, and I know your story as well, which is so beautiful and it resonates so much with my own story, with my
I
own
am older than
personal
you, though.
story. When were you born?
88.
88? Damn.
I am older than you. Yes.
You are older than me. Anyways, nonetheless, you left your home country, you left your family, your mother, your father. You left everything behind in the pursuit of your own happiness to come to America, to the greatest nation in our minds, worlds, to pursue your own happiness. Now, if I was to ask you, do you know horses do not eat meat, right?
Right.
Horses don't eat meat. They just don't, right? Now, what if I was to tell you there was this one guy, and I heard that somewhere at some podcast just the other day. There was that one person who was at his horse race, and that one jockey came up and said, "Hey, watch my horse. I'm going to get him a hot dog." Person says, "A hot dog? Bro, everybody knows horses don't eat meat." He comes back with a hot dog and feeds his horse a hot dog. And it was a jockey racing horse, very successful. And the horse eats a hot dog. And the person was like, "Fuck." The horse ate a hot dog. All my life long, I thought horses do not eat meat.
Right.
And now here I am watching a horse for another person who's going to get that very horse that I'm watching eat. I guess the point of the story is you never know what you don't know. And there's always a different perspective on the things that you're looking at. Meaning, like, how beautiful would that be if you were to think you know things, but they're actually not the things that you know. Meaning, living life in a way of uncertainty and living life in a way of openness to new acceptance. As we, in the world that we live in today, we want to live we want to live life, we want to live this world with the knowledge of absolute facts. 1 + 1 equals
2. Or ask my calculator.
1 + 1 equals 2,
2,
right?
yeah.
It's an absolute fact that you would think, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what if you had one cloud and another cloud put together? It's still one cloud.
One cloud, yep.
One puddle of water and another puddle of water put together.
One puddle of water.
It's one puddle of water. So the world that we were raised in, everybody was raised in, we were raised in a world of absolute facts. 1 + 1 equals 2. This and that is that, right? And there's no other way. However, the beautiful thing of living a life within the acceptance of uncertainty is to be open to everything. No, there's no judgment. There's no other bullshit. Nothing. You just accept it the way it comes, right? Of course, you always want to protect yourself. Just like they say in MMA fighting, protect yourself at all times. You always want to protect yourself and your family at all times. However, you're always open to different avenues as they come in. For example, 1 + 1 equals 2. One puddle of water plus another puddle of water equals one puddle of water. One pile of chewing gum mushed together with another pile of chewing gum. And this is the real world.
Right.
This is the real world. The real world is not what we were taught growing up. School is great and all of that. But this is not necessarily what it is nowadays.
Interesting. So what you're saying is like most of life is gray, not just black and white.
In life, nothing is black and white.
Everything's gray.
I wouldn't necessarily
Like
say
50 Shades of Gray.
I wouldn't say gray, right? I wouldn't want to call it gray, right? I would say
But something in the middle, right?
I would say it is what you want it to be.
Ooh.
If for you, one cloud plus another cloud put together is 2 clouds piled in one cloud, then that it is what it is for you. But that might not be it for another person. That's why judging another person for whatever it is that they are doing is absolute bullshit and complete utter crap. And you must not ever do that, because as long as you do not know how that person has lived their life in their shoes, or if you have not lived that person's life in their shoes, you do not know how that person saw life or experienced life, then you must not pass judgment upon them, even if they were to do whatever and whatnot onto you.
I love that thought. And on that note, do you want to land this plane?
Let's land it, bro.
Right. It was lovely having you, man. It was
Man.
great conversations.
I appreciate it.
We covered so many things. Like I wasn't even expecting the conversation to go in this direction, but I'm so glad that you were here, and
Absolutely. Thanks
so
for
glad
having
that
me,
we
man.
had
Thanks for having
such a
me.
great conversation, man.
Absolutely, man.
And
I knew
nothing
we
but
were going to
love
have
for
a
you,
great
man.
conversation, man.
All right.
Nothing but love, man.
all right. Thank you very much, and we catch you in the next one.